Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. Here, this is the spot where the conversations are pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. Did you bring your thinking caps? Because it's time to put them on. Because the conversation starts now. To On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. This is the spot. This is the place. I tell you all the time. The hottest place on the planet where the conversations are pointed and the guests are sharp and the responses are never dull. Today we have Sherrie Toews. Okay, I'm just so glad to have her here on the edge because she's a psychotherapist. You can never have too much psychotherapy. But I'm going to ask her some tough questions because just my experience, Brains, I noticed that a lot of people in that field have overcome some trauma. They're doing the deep dive. But some people don't have the tools in their toolbox to keep clear and to keep moving. They keep revisiting the same cycle. So she's also a breakthrough coach. And that's what we want to do. We want to crack that shell and, let the yolk fall where it may. But in all seriously, a lot of times people get stuck and they talk about mindset. I'm working with Deepak Chopra here in San Diego, and he's all about consciousness. You got to be aware. You can't be stuck in a particular mindset. I'm going to get her opinion on all that and more. Let's welcome her to the edge. How are you, Sherrie?
Oh, thank you. Thank you, April. It's awesome being here. I'm doing well.
Oh, good. How's the weather? Where are you at?
I'm in Southern California, and I'm going to say it's chilly for me. I think the high today is supposed to be 59.
Now, where are you at? You're my neighbor. I'm here in Southern California too.
I'm not too far from LAX airport.
Shut the front door. Well, we're going to have to meet halfway and get some coffee or I heard of a new barbecue place. I might right up there and we have to meet halfway.
I'd love that.
All right. So tell me how you show up in the world.
Um, you know what? I show up how I show up at work. Authentic, open, curious. I love to hear other people's stories. I collect people's stories. I think that's part of what makes me so good at what I do, is having all those different life experiences besides my own to draw upon.
Well, it's wonderful, but helping people color in the white space. We're just all a mixed bag of nuts, especially after COVID. People are still thawing out.
For sure. COVID cracked open a lot of people. And the silver lining I've seen in that, it's really brought mental health forward in the light, and it's getting less stigmatized to reach out and get help. And there's so many ways to get help. So I'm really excited about the potential in that for everyone.
You know what I hope? I hope that people just accept it. If you are a person that is going through, we all have meltdowns. Okay. So if you're going through some anxiety, some stress, some depression, you got some strange 4 or 5 people talking to you, and you can't get your head around what's going on, you're manic depressive, kind of ups and downs, that something is not right. You know that this is not, quote unquote, I don't even want to use the word norm, regular.
Typical.
Ask for some help. It's okay. It's no shame. If you had a laceration, you would go and get it cleaned up and get some stitches. If Absolutely. Your eye bothered you, you get some eye wash. If your ears bothered you, you have to check in. You have to check your brain just like you check every other part of your body. Wouldn't you agree?
I totally agree. Oh. And I'm passionate about that because I want people to understand it's actually really easy to shift and navigate through what you need to navigate through. Now, I'm not saying it's not uncomfortable, but my favorite thing to do is get people to their happy place as quickly and as efficiently as possible. And it's possible.
But do they know where their happy place is? I mean, I don't want to be like the bone of contention here, but people don't even kind of know what it is that they want anymore. And so if they've come from dysfunction, they don't know what function looks like to them.
They don't. However, everyone most people who I work with, they have a goal in mind.
Okay.
It might not be the goal that they get to, they might find a different happy place along the way. But most people who come to me have some sort of goal. They're up to something.
What do you think is the best way for us to kind of self-evaluate? Should we journal? Should we just gauge the pulse of how people receive us around us, like our family members or our co-workers? Sometimes we can be a little out of sorts and not even realize it ourselves.
I love that question, because what I would challenge everyone to do is start listing and journaling about, what are you tolerating? What are you tolerating, right? That the way your best friend treats you, the clutter on your desk, right? Even the ankle biters, right? The clutter in your car. So look at what you're tolerating, because when we tolerate things, that drains our life force.
Exactly. But also how you respond. I woke up on my birthday and I made a statement to myself. I said, April, it's about how you process things. It's about how you respond. You have a choice. Allow yourself that 30 to 45 seconds, count backwards from 5, take those deep breaths. I mean, the breath is everything. When you have a baby, breathe. When you're stressed out, breathe. When you're doing exercise, breathe. The breath is the gift.
Absolutely.
And people don't take the time to do a deep inhale anymore. They really don't. And it's unfortunate, because they're missing out on so much, all this anxiety and a rush to judgment and a rush to react. It's not healthy. So I took my own advice. I lost my keys. I was down in Venice Beach, hanging out, and lost my keys on the beach. And I had to get back to San Diego, Sherrie.
Wow.
I had to get towed 132 miles. But what I said to myself, it was 2 days after I had made this promise to myself. I said, what are you going to do? Are you going to act ugly and nobody wants to help you? Are you going to have a total meltdown and sit here and cry? Or are you going to get on the phone and look at your resources and see how you can get back to San Diego? And when I took that time to kind of logically work it out, it worked. So it's a step process. What steps do you encourage people to take when they're trying to, just trying to calm down?
Use stop and breathe. That's going to be the first thing you want to do, because you want to interrupt those chemicals, the cortisol, the adrenaline. And then ask yourself, what am I feeling? Right? We don't want to avoid that. And then it's really helpful when you ask yourself, what are you feeling? And then ask yourself, how come that makes perfect sense?
Okay.
Because then that connects you to the rational part of your brain, right? It's like, oh, I'm feeling mad and frustrated. I lost my keys. Oh, makes perfect sense. I'm angry. And even as I'm saying that, I feel myself calming down.
Well, I'm glad.
And then
So at first I had to talk myself to that place. I was not calm. I was ratcheting it up.
Of course. But when you ask yourself, how does that make perfect sense? It allows your rational brain to eventually come online. And then your brain, you're smart. It offers you solutions.
I know. And don't you love pleasant people? I love pleasant people. You go somewhere and, oh man, or they take responsibility for their actions. Oh,
Yes.
Mrs. Mahoney, I'm so sorry that that your steak wasn't cooked properly. Let me take it back, or let me give you a credit on your bill. But when you got that person with the eyes rolling and the neck and all that kind of stuff, or cut you off,
Right.
that's another thing I learned when I was in China.
Mhm.
When the people blow the horn, they wave and they're friendly and they smile at one another. And I asked my driver, I said, what is up with that? He goes, because you have avoided a conflict.
Wow.
Because you did not hit my duck, because you were warning me against danger, because you might have been distracted. But it is an acknowledgement of thank you for doing that. And I tell you, when people blow at me, I know they think I'm crazy. I'm like, okay, thanks. But they don't get all excited. They take that time to breathe.
Right.
So how long have you been in this psychotherapy career?
I've been a licensed psychotherapist for 31 years. I was
not that old.
Thank you.
Really?
I was blessed to know straight from high school, this is what I wanted to do. So that's how I've been doing this for so long. And I've been in the coaching arena going on 11 years. And what I love about what I do, it's one-stop shopping. Like I said, I usually work with people who are up to something, whether it's finding love, taking their business to the next level, upping, relationship issues. And so the coaching part of me knows how to keep people in action. But then when you hit a stuck spot or a wobbly spot, I get to use my therapeutic toolbox to help get unstuck so that you can stay in forward movement.
Draw the line for us. Where does a psychotherapist end and a coach begins, or vice versa?
Well, where I'm lucky is I can do both. So I don't need a line. But somebody who's going to see a coach, coaching is about keeping you in action. And they generally tend to do that with structures. And in psychotherapy, I have a lot of training in trauma. So I'm not afraid to go into the deep, scary parts of what need healing. And there are coaches out there who have training in some of those modalities, but that's not generally what they do, in my experience.
Because a lot of times people don't know, okay, what do I really need a coach for? And I just, in my opinion, I haven't had very many. I've been fortunate that I've been able to have mentors. But as far as the coaching is that they keep you on track, they keep you accountable. You have to stay focused. They have a set of rules or guidelines that they encourage you to follow. They encourage you to document your process and document where you are at each stage of the game. Where I would think if I was going to a therapist, and again, this is the world according to my brain, is that, I would need a little bit more, maybe understanding, compassion, tools to get where I want to go, to understand and define where I want to go, to feel comfortable, to have some breakthrough moments. So it's all about you, Brains, but those are just a couple of suggestions that when you're looking to decide what you want to do to take yourself to the next level, because people want to do that. And so many times, though, I find also, Sherrie, people want to go to the next level, but they're not content. That's not their happiness. They're constantly chasing that happiness high. Don't you think contentment is very important as well?
Oh, contentment and peacefulness is the cornerstone of a happy life, for sure.
So let's have some fun questions about Sherrie.
Okay.
If you were a flower in the garden, what flower would you be and why?
I think, the first flower that came to mind is a plumeria. I mostly grew up in Hawaii, and plumeria trees are everywhere. And they're just such a simple, beautiful flower, and they smell really good.
If your words had an odor, what would they smell like?
Oh, chai tea.
Ooh, nice and spicy. I like that.
And somewhat comforting.
That's right. And really good if it's iced. If you were an appliance in the kitchen, what appliance would you be?
Oh, that's a fun question. You know what? I'd be a garbage disposal, because
Really?
Yes, let me tell you why. Because garbage disposals get rid of what you don't need quickly and efficiently.
And they grind it up? Right. That's pretty good. I always say that I would probably be the spice grinder, because I like to chop it up and make it spicy. That's good.
That's cute.
If you could time travel, where would you land?
You know what? I think I don't know we add 2053, 30 years from now. I would love to see the life my son created for himself.
Oh, wow. That's pretty neat.
That'd be fun.
What are 3 things, your guilty pleasures, that you absolutely cannot live without?
Oh, Mexican food. Guilty pleasures. Well, I can't live without at least one dog.
Okay.
I'd have to have a dog. And it's not a guilty pleasure, but I couldn't live without sunshine.
That's so important. That's why we're in the expensive sunshine state of California. We pay for it too. You best believe it, sister.
Yeah, you're preaching to the choir. I know that.
What would you tell a 25-year-old Sherrie?
Um, 25-year-old is keep persevering. You're not only are you going to get there, but it's even better than what you can imagine.
That is great. That is absolutely great. So, are you having any current offerings with your program? What or your coaching program? Are you consulting with people? Are you speaking? Where are you at in the space right now?
People can find me on Instagram at effortless momentum. And my website is effortlessmomentum.com. On Instagram, I'm talking about resilience and how people in their daily activities and habits can create your own zestiness, your own resilience, so that you can be in ease and flow. And I've got a program about that on my website. And you can also sign up for a free 30-minute consultation if you want to find out about working with me.
And in closing, can you give us 2 or 3 great takeaways that, you know, to again adjust our mindset to make us just kind of have a little bit more ease and flow? What would be some tips that you might give a coaching client?
I'm going to go back to emotions because it's so foundational to being able to respond, to your point, April, versus being reactive. And the tip would be is to take a beat, ask yourself, how are you feeling and how does that make perfect sense? Just that one little baby step of making friends with your emotions can help you be in forward momentum. And self-care. It is a lot of bang for your buck for resilience, right? Getting enough sleep, hydrating, getting a little movement. And so often that's the first thing to go for people, especially if they're, parents and full-time job. So a lot of bang for your buck in those 2 things.
Well, we want to bang for our buck and we want to connect with you. I just love your voice tone and your smile and your presence. It feels very comforting. It feels like a person that I can open up to easily and speak to easily. And that's what we want. We want ease and comfort. And we want to be nice brains and we want to. So, Sherrie, we also need to talk about healthy relationships and establishing some boundaries. I think that's very important. Now, you were telling me about, online dating. I had a young woman that came on my show as a guest. She taught me so much. I've been married 38 years. I know nothing about online dating, catfishing, all of these other nuances when it comes to that. And you say that it can be safe and it can, and people can fall in love. How does that work?
You know what? Really what I help women do, because it's so easy, right? When you're looking at a profile and you're looking at pictures, it's so easy to be judgmental and create stories, right? Snap judgments. And it's really about helping ladies navigate that, of extending goodwill and credit to men, and then knowing how to, in those first 3 to 5 dates, how to date, gathering the evidence of, is he my high quality guy? Right. And being cautiously optimistic versus after the first date, he's the one. And then to your point about in my experience of doing online dating, I found there was like 3 different buckets for men. There was because I was looking for a committed relationship. There are the people out there who are not what they say, about 30%, and, basically 33, 33, 33. So there's the other 33% are looking for a high quality relationship. And then there are men out there who are not quite sure what they want, even if they are saying they're looking for a high quality relationship, or they're right off the bat saying they're not, that they're looking for something quality casual. And it's really being able to be
quality casual sounds like you're buying a cashmere sweater.
right. And so it's understanding how to navigate that from an informational standpoint versus personally, taking things personally.
Right. Well, I just had a guest on my show, bless her heart. She wrote a book about it. She was catfished.
Oh,
Out of $300,000
it
in
happened.
3 months. I said, wonderful. What was he saying to you? he had the Spengali on you.
Yeah.
If you have me buy you a tank of gas after the first couple days, I'm looking at you with a side eye. You can't buy your own gas. But she said that she was in a controlled relationship, that she felt that her husband was narcissistic. He passed away, left her a boatload of money. And so now she wasn't going to be controlled, but she was manipulated.
Yeah.
So again, understanding who you are, what your expectations are, the signs and the signals. People's asking you for money right away. That's not a good deal.
It's a red flag. And
It's
after my divorce, I took a year to learn about who single Sherrie was.
Mm-hmm.
So that I wasn't coming into people typically who get catfished come into relationships so hungry for validation and love, and they're just so easily manipulated.
They are, and people can hear that. Okay, it's like it's like a cat smelling tuna fish. They just come right up to you and they start giving you exactly what you need, saying all the perfect things, all the flattery, and then they just give you the 1-2 with, oh well, I need $1,000 to blah 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 blah.
And it sounds perfectly logical and reasonable.
Yeah, and we've been talking, and we've been having this conversation for 2 or 3 months. You don't trust me? I was like, no, I don't see you. The Zoom, you got to have a Zoom with these individuals. You got to see what they look like when they avoid that, when they can't answer the phone. Just certain things are key indicators that do a little bit more investigation.
Right.
Or suspicious.
Exactly. Or the other part in that is this mysterious traveling they have to do.
Right. They're always gone. Yeah. I get it. And the workaholic, so it's things that we need to look for, ladies and gentlemen, because women are looking for a sugar daddy too. Now, don't get me wrong. They'll get on there and they'll say all kinds of stuff. And it might be a 65-year-old woman talking to a 35-year-old man, which could be okay in some cases, but for the most part, there's something wrong with that picture. But thank you for those tips. Pay attention to that, Brains. To connect any way we can here on the edge with people with conversations that are pointed and super guests that are sharp, responses that are never dull. Take care of yourself. Right, Sherrie?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, April.
All right. Thank you so much. Talk to you later, Brains.